Hi everyone, welcome to Data Server. My name is Taiwo. Our topic today is the part 2 of our mastering summary function in part 1, in which we elucidated the purpose of all the 15 essential calculation functions in details. In this part 2 tutorial, I will demonstrate how to apply all these functions, the function like SUMIF, COUNTIF, average, dateIF, if logical, and the rest. Basically, after this tutorial, you will be proficient in using calculation functions to automate workflow and boost efficiency in Microsoft Excel. That you can apply the calculation function skill gain in this tutorial in your daily spreadsheet task. I'm going to go to our data confidential notice page just to give you heads up about the data you use in this particular tutorial. As mentioned, this data used in this particular tutorial is downloaded from Microsoft platform and is AdventureWorks database sample. As you can see, this is the link. So on our data page, let me show you, we have 10 column by 20 record. We have from column A to column J, says person, order date, ship date, order quantity, unit price, total price, discount percentage, discount amount, total price after discount, and territory name. So we're going to be using all these to showcase what we want to do. So we are going to load our Microsoft Excel 2024. So our Microsoft is loading. That's it. There you go. This is our data. As you can see, AdventureWorks database sample. That's what we use. So we're going to go. We have about 4 or 5 tabs to use as a practical scenario, as if you are working in a real life scenario. This is what this particular tutorial will show you how to do or make use of all these functions. First one is sum. We have combination of the different tasks in this particular tab. So the first one, what we need to do, we're going to sum. As you can see, we want to calculate the total sum. We have to do it in 3 ways. The first step is to highlight from F2 all the way to F22, and we go to Home, click the symbol of sum, and it's going to give us the sum. That's it. Done. So we're going to delete that and do the second method. And the second method is to have your cursor in F22, type it equal sum, open bracket, F it's not case sensitive, but it's good to use F2 column F21 bracket close and press enter. You see, that's the second method. And the third method is the shortcut key. I delete this again. All you need to do, you highlight from F2 all the way to F22. You press alternative key and the plus and equal sign on your keyboard, and it gives you the value. There you go. That's it. That's all you need to do for this particular. That's the 3 methods you can use for calculating the sum. And the next one is SUMIF. So for time's sake, I'm going to pop in the formula for this particular one. Then I will explain. So what we want to do, we want to calculate the total sales for Laura Collins based on Laura Collins in total price. And to do that, we're going to add Laura Collins in our SUMIF range, because that's the person calculation we want to get. So there you go. So the Laura Collins total sum is 5,374. And what this formula does, we highlight from the entire range from where we have the name, which is in A column, all the way to F column. That is where we have a data set range. Then we put comma and have in quote we put the name of Laura Collins. If you want, we have 3 unique names here. If you want to put Robert King, we change it to Robert King which I'm going to do later on, and we change it to either or Jackson. And where we have the calculation of total price is F2 to F21. This is what we've done here. Press enter again. So we're going to quickly populate for Robert King and Paul Jackson. So the reason why we're doing that, just to use it as a comparison for the dynamic. You can see this is for this Laura Collins again. We want for Robert Jackson. It's not for Laura Collins. We're going to change it to Robert Jackson. All we need to do is to change that name in the code to Robert. See this for Robert. See this Robert. The next person is for Paul Jackson. We'll do the calculation for Paul Jackson as well. It's going to give us in F25 cell. See, these are all the value for each candidate, 6 person. So basically, the next thing that we want to do is to use this drop down is to calculate based on dynamic. So dynamic categorical name for some if. So what we're going to do, we're going to put our formula here. So where we have this name in quotes, we're going to change it to this formula. Set 2826. So whatever we select in 826, before we do that, we're going to add our formula first. So after we add our formula, which is going to be equal sum if open brackets you see it's giving us 0 value. So what we do, we highlight everything. The only thing difference is that where we have quote of a name here, we change it to this cell. So what we're going to do, we're going to check if everything we have here is correct. So if we select Laura Collins, you see it's 5,374 italics. We select Paul Jackson is 1,087, and if we select Robert King, it's going to give us the value for Robert King. So this is all you need to do when you come to sum if. All the possibility is already being practicalized in this particular scenario. So another one that we need to do is a combination of using the sum if with numeric value. So in this scenario, as I said, just for time's sake, I'm going to copy in the code and I will explain. So what we want to do in this one is this value, sum if, we calculate based on these two columns, column G and column H. Column G has got our discount percentage, and what this code is saying, if any value in column G is greater than 5, then sum all the value that is greater than 5 in column H. So that's how we arrive at this value. So likewise, all we need to do is we're just going to change this one to, as you can see, have greater than and less than. You have to take note of this sign. You have to make sure, take note that the one facing your left is the greater than sign, and the one facing your right is less than. So we have used the greater than. I'm going to use the less than now. So our less than will now give us the value for any value that is less than 5 in that particular discount amount. As you can see, we have not changed it. We're going to change it to the value will automatically change. See, all the value based on the value that is less than 5, when the computer algorithm calculate everything, it sum to 194. This is all we need to understand in this particular tab related to sum if. So our next is count if. So we're now going to move to our count if tab. So we have about 6 tasks in this count if, and the first one is to count. It's just the normal count. So we're going to add our count function to count from the other quantity from D2 to D21. Add our formula to that, and it's going to count. So this is just only count, and we're going to add our count A, so which is similar to that of count. It's going to give us 19 as well. If you look carefully, I'm going to explain it later. That one give us 19 as well. I want to populate all the count condition before I do the explanation. So the next one is count if, and the count if will give different value, and it's going to be obvious. So what this one does, this one counts normal count. If I highlight from D2 to D21, the total count is 20, but because there's no value in this particular D14, that's the reason why both count and count are giving us 19. So if you add 1 to 19, and this particular count if is giving us 1, and the reason is because you can see that it's counting just only the blank. So, and there's another function that you can use, which is all you need to do. If you change this one to count blank, it's going to give you, so it's automatically pop up, it's going to give you the same value, which is going to be 1. See, it's 1. So this is the count blank. So, and with the one we have quote, it's the same thing. So the next thing to do in this particular tab is to go to our country Europe in territory name. And what we need to do here, we want to count in our J2 column, which is territory. We want to count the total number of Europe in our territory name. So this, using this count if J2 is our territory name, and we put in quotes all the Europe that we want to count, and it gives us 9. So that's what we need to do. Other thing that we need to do here is count total price after discount greater than 1000. Now we're going to add our code here to show you to count based on numeric value. The condition of the count can be applied to either string or numeric value. So basically we are applying this time around to numeric value. What this formula does, in this particular total price after discount, it counts the number of value that is greater than 1000, and they are all 4, which is highlighted in yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So another one where we have to use the dynamic count. The dynamic count is going to be based on this particular value where we have here. I'm going to remove this one so that initially we don't have anything yet. So until we select, we're going to add our code to that. So, and the code is going to be based on J26 value. So what we're going to do, when you put our formula here, it's going to be 0. By the time we come here, we've already added drop down list, and basically based on all our territory unique name, you can only have Europe, North America, or Asia. So by the time we do selection of any of them, it's going to tell us the count. You see, for Asian is 3, for Europe is 9, and for North America is 8. 839 is 20. The total record here is 20. It's 20, so it's working. So that's it. This is all what you need to understand with this count and count if condition. And our next tab is average and div. Average date div. So first and foremost, we're going to use the average, which is more straightforward. And the average, we're going to pop in our code into the average, and what it does, it just calculate the total average for that data range, which is going to based on our order quantity, and is going to, and our average is 3.5, as you can see from this data range, D2 to D21. So for us to show that our average is working, if you highlight from year to year, the computer system automatically at the taskbar show you the average. You can see it's the same thing. So that one is working. And average if order quantity based on territory name. So we're going to base it on two combination of column. So I'm going to pop in code. So the average will be based on J2, which is our territory name, column, so J21. And we see what that code will do. So what this particular code does is calculating the average based on the selection of Asian origin in territory name only and get the total value of the total number and add it together and divide it by the total number of Asian occurrences. So that's why we have 2.33. So because of time, I could have just filter and show you, but if you do it at your less busy time, you will see that the calculation is correct. So that is that. Now the next one, we want to use the function called daydiff to calculate days. And to do that, we're going to add our code to C25. And what this code does, it calculates, you see from B2, this is our B2, and C2, the other date and ship date is calculating the total days in between. So what this code, all you need to do, if you want to calculate months, you change this D to M. If you want to calculate year, you change it to Y. So I'm going to add that so that we can see how it works. So this is the next one is to calculate the months between the two dates. As you can see, this is 18 months between the other date and ship date in B2 and C2. And likewise, we're going to get the year as well in between B2 and C2. And it's going to give us, if you can do the calculation, it's going to be 1 year 6 months. As you can see, but it's not going to give us months because we are after just only year. So I'm going to go to this column to show you the one that will give you the entire month, days, and year. So this one will be based on that full day, month, year, which is going to be in our K2. We're going to the first one, we're going to put our formula in K2. So we're going to get the full. So and there are differences when using this particular calculation. When you combine the total formula for days, month, and year, you can see in this particular daydiff B2 to C2, we use Y, which is year. But when it comes to months, we use YM. And when it comes to day, we use the MD. So it's not the same thing as that of individual because it's a combination. It's going to subtract and do some addition and multiplication and division. So that is why we have, if you look at 18 months is 1 year, 6 months, and additional days. So if you double click, it's going to populate for the rest of the column. So I'm going to delete this. We don't need them. You can see this is how this way. Where we have year that is 0 is showing 0 and showing month and showing days. So this is all we need to understand when it comes to this kind of calculation. See, so our next tab is if median, minimum, maximum mode. So we're going to go to that. So now, so what we want to do, we want to calculate the median, which one this one is not going to take too much of our time. All we need to do, we all know medians. For those of you that have not watched the first part 1, I've explained in details what all this formula does and how they can be helpful, which is the one that we are doing at the moment to practicalize it for you to understand the purpose and importance of all these functions. So the median is 3. So in a nutshell, median is just like a kind of the total number that when the computer system sort everything from the beginning to the end, it just take note of the middle number and pick it as even, because this particular data set is 20, so it's going to pick the value in cell 10 and 11, add it together and divide it by 2. Then that's the reason why. But if it's in, say, like an odd number, if it's 19, it's going to pick the cell in 10 because when we use 9 plus 9 is 18, when you subtract 1 from 19, 1 plus 18 is 19, so it's going to use the one in the middle if it's 9 is odd number, but this time around is even. So that's a little bit mathematical calculation, but that's how method works. So the next one is to calculate the mode, and the mode, as I said, I've explained in our summary page of part 1. The mode is just the number that occur most in the data set range. So similar, so if you want to rearrange and do, because of time I don't need to do that, but if you look at it carefully, because it's not too much data, it's not like running to 100 or thousands, it's 3 that occur most. So the minimum is very straightforward, just like a direct interpretation of what is minimum. Minimum is something that is the smallest, just another synonym for that. So all we need to do is just to add the formula to, and you can even, because this data is not much, you can easily know by mere looking at it. You can see that it's going to tell us 32. If you look at this, 32 is the minimum, and the maximum is going to be 4,800. But I still need to add the formula for you to understand how to use it. So I'm going to put the mass shorten as maximum. That's our maximum value. So that is the end of this particular section. So our next section is AND or logical product. Oh, before we go further, we have this additional that will give us if true or false. So let me just quickly show you how to do that. So what that does, we're going to put, using our if condition in such a way that it's going to give us what we want to interpret a particular data set to. So basically, if Europe equal J2, which is this one, we are using the first one, then say it as region, return region. If it's not America, return region 2. But if it's none of them met the first two doesn't meet this criteria, return region 3. Region 3, because the reason is because we have 3 unique values: Europe, North America, and Asia. If you populate, you will see it's going to give us, if you go to any Europe here, it's going to be region 1, region 1. If you go to any Asian, it's going to be 3, North American is going to be 2, as you can see. So this is what this particular code does. So basically, this is very useful when you have a kind of interpretation that you want to present the data in your workbook, or maybe in your dashboard, that you want to something that is meaningful to the audience. Then you can use this kind of calculation to generate different meaning for a particular data set, especially for anyone that wants to work as data analysis. It's very crucial to understand this particular formula. So the last one on this particular tab is if this count is greater than 5. So this one is just straightforward. So if you look at this formula, is if G2, which is our discount, if it's greater than 5, just put, if it's greater than 5, put yes, otherwise put no. Look at this particular one, this 5. Take note, this 5 is not great. 5 is not greater than 5. 5 is equal to 5. That is the reason why we have no, because of time. But if I put equal sign into this formula, let me show you. If I put equal sign in the front, it's going to turn to yes, because this means that I said if G3 greater than or equal 5, then return yes. But because if I go to where we have yes for any other 5, because we did not say the word equal, we just say if it's greater. We are asking if it's greater than 5, not if it's equal to 5. That is the reason you have yes and no, yes here and no here, because we change the formula to equal to add to the after greater than sign. But in this scenario, this particular cell L9, we did not add equal. So that's what you need to understand. Continue to if condition. And our last tab is related to AND and logical condition, and also the products. So the first thing we're going to do this product. The product is more or less like a multiplication. You see, in multiplication times table, let's say 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4. So this is what this one particular function does. Okay, I want to, when you use the function product, it's going to multiply based on the data set range, add to the formula. It's going to be 2 times 3 times 4, so which is going to be 26. And I'm going to add that formula. So this is what this formula does. It's a straightforward one. So we're going to add our formula in J23 and press enter. So what it does, you see, we want to calculate the value from, multiply everything from G23 to G to I23. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 4, 24. That's it. So this one is the next one. And to check distant amount. So the AND logical is a kind of a logical reasoning of AND condition. And we're going to add our formula to K2. See, our formula in K2 test this value in G2. So what it does, the particular AND condition in this scenario will test if one particular two condition met, then it's going to be true. But if the two conditions is not met, it's going to be false. If you look at this scenario, now in G2, is G2 greater than 10? Yes. But is H2, which is this one, the next one, greater than 1000 and 100? No, because it's 100. 100 is not greater than 100. So if I change this one to equal in front, like what I did before, it's going to turn it to yes. So let me populate the rest. I can come back and change that. I say the only way we have true, you will see the two condition is met. So if you look at this, 9 is greater than 5 and 432 is greater than 100. So that's why we have true here. So if I change this one to, if I put the condition of if equal 100 in front of greater than, it's going to turn to true. You see, that's it. So the last on this tutorial is our OR logical condition formula. And our logical condition formula will test two combination of column, which is going to based on, as you can see, it's based on I2 and J2, so which is combination of numeric and string. So basically what we are saying here, our I2 greater than 500, which is this one, the total price after discount, and the answer is yes. And also, is it zero? And the answer is yes. So that's true. So in this particular OR condition, one must be met. So let's see where, so because one must be met, majority of them are true. Let's see where we have false, that none of them is met, all the two conditions that we put in place. So if you look at this one is not zero, this J7, and this one as well is not greater than 500. So that is the reason we have false. So that is the end of our tutorial. So the sky is limit. Unleash your potential. Come back for more tutorial. And if you watch the first one and there's part 2, be rest assured that you'll be regarded as advanced Excel user, professional person to use Excel. So stay blessed. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and come back for more tutorial in our channel. I remain your style. Stay blessed. Bye.